Okay, guys, I'm trying to get the commercial on and I don't know what's going on.
Sure, I smoked weed when I was young. It was how we rebelled against the man, and it was fun. Then life changed. Family, responsibilities, and breaking the law didn't seem like such a good idea. Now it's legal, the medical benefits are widely known, but it's all mass produced. Just not my style. Then I discovered Elevated by Claudine. Elevated by Claudine, a locally owned, female owned, alternative medicine practitioner in the Union Crossing Shopping Center in Glendale. Elevated by Claudine is 100% unique, a CBD, mushroom, and plant medicine store on a mission. Everything is locally sourced and ethically made, where everything you purchase promotes holistic wellness. I've come to trust Elevated by Claudine as I travel my spiritual and wellness journey with the help of plant medicine, custom made just for me. Get the whole story at Elevated by Claudine, spelled CLAUDENE.com.
There may be health risks associated with consumption of these products. Please use these products responsibly. Must be 21 or older.
Well, hello, guys. Welcome in and happy Monday and Tuesday. Monday for all of you that are here in America and Tuesday for all of you that are in Australia. And today we're going to have a special show for you guys. We're going to talk about THC in psychiatric medications, you guys. And I just wanted to wish Anne a very happy birthday. She just had a birthday. So she made it around this planet again for another year.
That's literally how I feel when it's going to be my birthday. Like, oh, I got to do this all over again.
I know.
I think my memory's coming back from when, like, I was in the womb. It's like I start hyperventilating. I'm going into the world. I really have to do this all over again.
I know. I just every time I have one, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I made it. I made it to to this age, which I've lost a lot of people that did make it to my age. So I'm very I guess I'm grateful for being on this planet. Either way, I not that I don't care, but I really don't care if I'm here or if I'm over there. So
Yes, being on this planet is something else.
yeah, it's rough.
I have
It's
mixed
rough.
emotions. It is.
It is a rough planet. But okay, you guys, welcome. For those of you who are tuning in, welcome to the Anne and Claudine live show, where we just talk about kind of everything. We give our bold perspective on just being a human. We talk about paranormal stuff. We talk about
And she's gone. Claudine.
oh, there you are. Okay, can you? I we. Uh oh.
You just like, oops, you're talking and then you just disappeared.
Okay, you there?
Oh my God, you scared me.
I don't know what happened, but we got back on. I went off, went back on. Oh, I think we're still live. Okay, we're still. Sorry, guys. They were probably watching us this whole time. I have no idea what happened with that. It's
I don't
because I
know, it
used
was
that
watching
word.
me.
It's because I used the word. I didn't use the word critter, and I
Keyword.
used the other word. Yeah, which I. We're so shadow banned. It's not even funny.
That's crazy. I dream of them. They visit me in my dreams.
They
Those
used to
little
do that to
critters.
me too until I killed them.
Yeah, I still see them. I feel like when they're dying off, they communicate with me. But I always know when I'm communicating with one because I feel it and I remember them, and I always remember their face. Like they always show me their face, and they're always like got some kind of like demonicness, but yet they're not. They're like an entity. It's so weird. I can't explain it, but I just always know it. And then I'll like
Archons. They are archons. They
arc,
are. They
yeah.
are. They really
And they
are.
communicate with us and they control us and I got told in one dream that some of them are archaic. Like from what I understood, they mean archaic, like they come from generations, like
Mhm.
they've been passed down, and that's how ancestral and DNA and everything, like they're connected to all of it. Like it's so deep how they've created this, like the P word, the P thing, the
Yeah,
critters.
critters. Just call them critters, and we should be fine. They
That's
don't
how
usually. Yeah, they don't
that's
have
how
that
we're
word
like
flagged. Yeah.
connected, controlled by the matrix and stuff.
Yes. And
Very
next on our next show, I want to talk a little bit more about those critters and how they affect our body and how they create disease like Alzheimer's and gout and all of those other diseases that they do create. So, a lot of inflammation in the body. They do create inflammation in the brain, which is causing Alzheimer's and dementia. So I want to get into that hopefully on our next show, which I think is just fascinating because I'm dealing with a lot of this stuff. This is the stuff I'm seeing in my everyday practice. But you know what? Let me go back, you guys. Let me do an introduction really quick so everyone knows who we are. I'm Claudine with Elevated by Claudine. I am a medicine practitioner. I do alternative medicine, and I grow it. I make it. I dose people. I've been called a dosing specialist. But that's who I am, and that is what I do. I own my own healing facility in Glendale, Arizona, and I currently work with probably over 1,000 people now. So I'm pretty proud of that. That's a pretty good, large, yeah. It's over 1,000
cool.
actually. Yeah. It is a lot of people. It really is.
People.
I have, so we come here on the Anne and Claudine live show, and we just talk about our own anecdotal and perspective and our own experiences about just being human, which includes spirituality, health, wellness, and we love to talk about paranormal stuff and Illuminati and the darkness and God and what all this craziness is about. You know, I'm sure it's beyond all that. You know, if you stop talking about the dark and the light, you know, it gets kind of, I mean, after being so long, you know, into this game of talking about dark and light, I don't know, it gets kind of like maybe there is something more to it, I think. But, anyways, that's just my perspective. Um, and tonight we're going to talk about THC in psychiatric medication, like I said earlier. And okay, I got to introduce myself. Now let Anne introduce herself as my co-host. She is, and Anne and I have been working together we're going on 7 years. And I was just saying, she just had a birthday, you guys. So everyone wish her a happy birthday. Um, and so here's Anne from Australia.
Hello, I'm Anne. There's not a lot to introduce about myself.
It's okay.
Yeah, I had my birthday. I don't really put a lot of emphasis on birthdays. Apparently, according to some Christians, not Christians, people who like follow all that kind of like, the deeper kind of part of the Bible, Christianity, Satan, all that kind of stuff. They say that celebrating your birthday is the most satanic ritual you can do as a human being. So when I heard that, I was telling my daughter how I grew up in the cult. One of the things that our cult did is they didn't celebrate our birthdays. They didn't acknowledge them. And I think um it's like they try and take away your individuality, because they would take everyone who's born in that month and celebrate everyone's birthday. Like everyone who's born in March would have, their birthday in March and be celebrated all together and get a cake for everyone in March. And that's how they that's how we were brought up. So like till the age of 15, I never had a birthday. But so now, like whenever my birthday is coming and I know people are going to say happy birthday and stuff, I get so much anxiety because it's like, ah, don't celebrate my birthday. But I don't mind it. I actually like, they also say if you celebrate your birthday, it makes you older in the way you look and stuff, because you're telling your body that you are getting older. You're telling your body, I'm now 45 years old. I am now, like
I'm
cel-
getting older. You're telling your body, I'm getting older when you celebrate. And Prince was all about this. Prince talked about this quite often. Um, and I remember when I was very young when he first said that celebrating your birthday was all planned on us so we can age and stuff. Because back in the Moses days, they didn't, they lived to be 900 years old.
yeah, because they didn't have
So,
all the toxins and stuff.
oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. They didn't have toxins. They didn't have trash food. They didn't,
Didn't have
they lived a
poison.
totally different
Yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah.
So,
Not only did they live to be 900 years old, but they lived to be 900 and they were upright. They weren't all crippled over. They weren't all like suffering. They lived to those in those years, but they were strong and they were healthy and they were standing upright, and their spines, they weren't like nowadays. You look at someone who's 70 and they're like hunched over, and people go, oh, that's just old age. But it's not just old age. We're not supposed to age like that. That's all the toxins and everything that have like built up in our body and restricted our fascia and our lymphatic system, and we've curled up into these things that we've accepted because it's like, oh, but I'm 60 years old. I'm supposed to be like, it's like, no, you're not.
no, you're
No,
not.
no. Back in the Bible days, like they lived to 900 and they were strong till 900. They were upright.
Mhm.
They were building boats and arks and putting animals on it. Like they were strong human beings into their old age. So that is a complete conditioning by society telling you that if you're that age, that's why you're hunched over, that's why you're all crippled and feeling like that, because that's your age and that's how you're supposed to age. It's like, no, that's actually not true.
That's what doctors, Western medicine doctors say. Oh, you guys, and I got to do that disclosure. Hold on real quick. I have to do disclosure. I totally forgot that. Everything that Ann and I talk about is completely anecdotal. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. Neither is she. We don't know nothing about medical, Western medical or Australian medical. We are here for entertainment purposes only. So take what you want, leave what you want. I have to put that out there, and I always forget to put that disclosure on there. But it's done. And yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that I agree with what Prince had said, and with everything that I've investigated and how I feel. The doctors. It's the doctors that I had at least 4 people come into my facility last week and said, well, the doctor said it comes with aging. Well, the doctor says it's because I'm aging. Well, the doctor says because I'm older. So,
Yeah, the
mhm,
doctors have been conditioned to a degree.
exactly. They've been taught, yeah.
The whole
They,
matrix has been conditioned.
or this is normal. This is normal for your age at this
Yeah,
age.
yeah,
I've heard so many lines, and it's really sad because
yeah,
then the person starts to think that they manifest it. See, your body can
yeah.
only hear you, people. Your
Yes,
body cannot hear me, cannot hear Ann, cannot hear the doctor. So you go to the doctor, they're gonna implant you with an idea. You start to think about it, and your body hears that.
yeah,
So that's how
yeah,
that works. I know it
yeah. We
sounds so bad.
manifest. We
Mm-hmm.
manifest. We manifest everything that we say. Like if we sit there and say, "Oh, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick," you're going to be sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Body will start to take on sicknesses around you and just be have a runny nose or have that gut issue. Like you will manifest being sick if you keep saying it.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
And
and it
sometimes
does hear doctors. It doesn't hear anyone else but you.
but you exactly can't hear anybody. But anyway, so tonight I wanted to talk about THC, you guys, and the psychiatric medications. This is a risk conversation most people aren't having. They don't talk about this much, okay? And I just want to let you guys know before we get started that I have a whole list of studies about what I'm about to talk about. All these studies that are being done or have been being done on antipsychotic drugs and THC. And Ann and I worked together about 6 years ago on with two clients of mine she helped me with, and they had completely went into a deep, deep psychosis. We sat there literally and watched these people go into deep psychosis by the hour. Actually, one of them, and then the other one by the day. By the day, he was going into psychosis. And we would sit there and be like, what is that? What the heck just happened? And now, 7 years after the fact, and me helping so many SMI people, which is severely mentally disabled in my state, when you're declared that, that means that you are court ordered to take antipsychotic drugs and antidepressants and other drugs.
Interesting.
Yep. And both these clients happen to be SMI. So it was very interesting. And now that we can, 7 years after the fact, we can totally see what it is and how THC affects people on antipsychotics. And tonight we're going to get deep into it, why that is. Tonight I want to talk about something I personally, observed in my practice, what I just told you, the interactions between THC products and psychiatric medication. This isn't about shaming cannabis, you guys. It's not. It's about neurochemistry. And when we're talking about brain chemistry, we have to be precise. I have to be precise on what I have learned about this. So let's talk a little bit about THC, okay? And THC is also called tetrahydrocannabinol, okay? That is the scientific name of it. And it primarily binds to receptors called the CB1s. You got your CB1 and CB2 receptors, which is your cannabinoid system, your largest nervous system. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into that, but we will a little bit down in this show. We will. Anyways, that THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, binds to the CB1 receptors in your brain and on the inside and the outside of your body, and it influences certain receptors, your dopamine release, glutamate signaling, GABA regulation, perception processing, memory encoding, and emotional regulation. Yeah.
It's a few things there.
It's a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. This is going to be a lot tonight. So, but this will just go to show people what I do and how, and how I work with people with cannabis. THC increases the dopaminergic activity in certain brain regions, particularly the mesolimbic pathway. That's your reward pathway, motivation, pleasure pathway, okay? Another happy pathway, okay? And another thing too, once you close your pathways, you guys, you can't reopen them, but you can create new ones, okay? That's very important to know. This is where it matters, okay? Excessive dopamine signaling is strongly associated with psychosis. That's not an opinion. That's not my opinion, you guys. That's Psychiatric 101. Like I said, I've been doing lots and lots of research. I have a list of documentation here of different studies that have been going on with Yale, Harvard. That's in America. These are just studies in America and outside of America, because cannabis is a Schedule 3 still. Even though they moved it to a 1, it's still a Schedule 3. It has not been moved yet from the FDA, and it cannot be studied here in United States. So anyways. Okay, getting off topic here. Um, Antipsychotic medications primarily work by blocking dopamine receptors, especially the D2 receptors. That is your G protein coupled inhibitory receptors in the brain that modulate motor control, sleep, and memory. Okay. These examples of these antipsychotic medications that people are on are like SSRIs, Abilify, lithium. God, there's just a long line of antipsychotic drugs. There really is. I can't even pronounce half of them when my clients
I
come
don't
in.
know. I don't
I
know.
know.
You know,
These words
lithium.
are so olazapine, there's risperidone or whatever. There's all these antipsychotic drugs. And their goal is to reduce dopamine signaling to prevent hallucinations, delusions, mania, psychotic breaks. And that is their goal. And that is what they're put into the body and given to a client for. Okay, so with that all being said, that contradiction is that THC increases dopamine signaling, okay? So it increases the dopamine. THC does. When
THC increases
huh?
dopamine.
Yeah,
THC increases dopamine in your brain.
signaling. Yeah, signaling in your brain and those pathways. Antipsychotic drugs block dopamine signaling.
But don't you want dopamine in your
You
brain?
do. Yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
yeah.
But when you're on antipsychotics, it blocks the
Blocks it.
dopamine signaling to reduce dopamine signal so that it can prevent hallucination, delusion,
Okay.
mania, and psychotic breaks.
Yeah.
These are a lot of words tonight. Hopefully, I'll be able to get them all out. I mean, if we did this show earlier in the morning, I'm a lot better with my how I
It just
pronounce things.
it's just interesting because I remember one of the boys, like one of your clients that we worked with, like I remember one of the things he kept doing was he kept smoking. But I think that's probably what they're trying to do. They're trying to like they're trying to get dopamine like to go into their body because they're so flat from these like and they kind of know it in a way. So they're trying to like turn those pathways for the dopamine to start like flooding their body because I couldn't understand like what is he doing, why is he so like aggressive about like just smoking, like it's just he just was sucking it in. I'm like, well, like I know you when you get anxious and stuff you do that, so it's a mix, but kind of makes sense like if the dopamine levels are shut off, they're trying to flood
So
their
they're
body.
so the THC is pushing in the psychosis. It's
Yeah,
pushing it and pushing it and pushing it in. So then they go into hallucination, they go
yeah,
into delusion, they go into what I call mania,
yeah,
a
for
manic
sure, for
mania
sure.
psychosis break. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And one of the clients was on lithium,
yeah, I don't know how.
high amounts of. I mean, I don't even know how the person's. He's still alive right now, walking on this planet. I'm like, oh my gosh, they pumped him up. He was SMI. He was court ordered. He had no choice.
Yeah, I know lithium from Britney Spears because that was like the one that they pumped her full of after
Hmm.
her little psychotic break. Yeah, I had a friend who had really bad bipolar disorder from Canada, and I met him like in Thailand, and I remember like he was on lithium, and but I don't know, I didn't rate it. I didn't think it helped him at all. He was just like maybe he was more like subdued from what he's normally, but he still had the like the bipolar in it in him. I was like, how is this medication helping anything? But
Oh, I know. It's well, hopefully I can say this word. I'm going to say it slowly so I don't mess it up, but they are literally pharmacologically pushing the accelerator and the brake at the same time.
yeah, literally, they are. It kind of, I kind of like understand now, like when what you're talking about, because yeah, they are. They're like, and I think they go into excess of trying to turn the dopamine back on, and that's why they get so like. I remember I was like stop, like don't keep smoke, like you need to just calm down. But he
I
couldn't.
know.
But yeah,
Oh,
they got the
it was
break on.
crazy. They just can't get enough of that THC, or
Yeah.
and the products now are just so much stronger than what they used to be, and they're so tainted with mold and bad stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but that does create instability in vulnerable brains. You see,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we were seeing, and it was quite interesting, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm
And
really happy to, because I asked Spirit, I asked God, show me what this is. What is SMI? And I got it. He showed me. God always showed me, and
I,
I say,
I learned a lot about American, like the mental health system, because I have
yeah,
never, like, I don't know how it works here, but I've never known anyone that's on court ordered antipsychotic anything. And it's funny because like there's such like, especially the what um one of your clients, when you talk to them, they're just like normal. They seem very normal, happy, like basic people. Like they don't seem crazy. But then when they go on those tangents, it's like, whoa. You can see the dopamine being rushed into their body probably isn't the best thing for them.
I know. I had one of my SMIs was here today. He was here for about 3 hours for counseling, and he was a lot. I mean, I'm exhausted from him, but
Can
I was able
imagine.
to help him today. So yeah, he's having a really hard time. He was on 22 pharmaceuticals.
Oh my god.
And then he went psychotic, and now they're taking him back off of the farm. Two of the farm, they put him on 3 pharmaceuticals, trazodone. I forgot all of the ones that he said he was on. Anyways, yeah. So I was with him today, helped him, on top of the other 4 people that came in to see me today. Those were not SMI people, but those are people that have cancer. So it's kind of, THC is good for cancer too. So
Yeah.
it's, yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to shame it or anything, but when you're on antipsychotics and you're on antidepressants, I just want people to be aware of why or what can happen when they're using cannabis, and how to use it. There's other cannabinoids they can use. There's a lot of, and there's common antidepressants. Antidepressants plus THC isn't quite as dangerous, I don't
Mhm.
think. I have seen lots of people who have used mild antidepressants like trazodone, and they're just fine having a little bit, using cannabis. It
Mhm.
actually helps them. Zoloft, Prozac, are some other. I guess those are SSRIs, or antidepressants, I believe. Yeah, they're not antipsychotics. But anyways,
Very interesting.
yeah.
I find that
Um,
interesting. Like I smoked when I was younger, and then I stopped when I had children, and I didn't smoke at all. And then I was on pain medication, like bad, like very strong Oxycontin, Valium, Endone, like all kinds of medication doctors were pumping me with. I was even on one called Lyrica, which over here when I was got given it, I got given it as a nerve medication, like it's to help with the nerve system, and but I didn't research it, and they were giving it to me like candy. And after about 6 months of taking it, I started having full joint pain. Like I thought I had arthritis and my joints were swollen. I couldn't bend. So we started researching it, and it turned out in America, it's a controlled substance because people were becoming very depressed and even committing suicide from it. So it went from a nerve medication to being treated as it can affect the psychosis of a human. And it was like I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it was being treated a little bit differently than just a nerve medication, because it was like affecting people's mental states to where like people were killing themselves. Yeah, so it was controlled in America. And once I found that out, I went cold turkey. Like everything said, all the websites, all the pamphlets, it said, if you're thinking of coming off this medication, don't go, do it gradually. But after reading what I read from the American study of this drug, I just went, no way, I'm cutting this out of my body. And I went cold turkey, and I had very bad depression for probably about 3 to 4 months. And I couldn't stop crying, and I was super emotional, and I knew that it wasn't me. Like, I knew it was something that was causing the depression. Like, I've had depression throughout my life, and I've been to psychologists, and I knew, and I had postnatal. So I knew it was something in my body, and I kind of knew it was this medication, and I would tell myself that. And yeah, once it kind of like was flushed out of my body, and I'd gone cold turkey, and I was fine, and I never got depression like that again. And but I remember when I went into smoking, I was coming off a lot of these medications, but I wasn't full coming off. And I will agree with that psychotic side. That's, you shouldn't mix the two, because my receptors were definitely very turned off from all the drugs that I had, all the medication I had taken. And I do think it was probably too much too soon, from having my receptors so shut off for so like 3 solid years.
Completely closed. They're closed
Yeah.
up. And like I said, you cannot reopen them, but
Bang.
you can create new ones, and creating
Yes.
new pathways to your serotonin, dopamines, GABA receptors, all of that. There's ways of going about it. It's,
Yes. Maybe
exactly.
a bit slower, and a bit more like
Diet.
where you're
Your
cleaned
diet.
out for one
Yeah.
thing, and then you're switching over,
Mhm.
when you're dealing with like psychosis and minds, like things that will control the brain and moods and stuff, you want to be careful.
You
Always.
do want to be, yes, you want, and like I said, creating those new pathways is, a good way to do it is through diet, exercise, supplements, detoxing, cleaning out that mitochondria. There's just a lot of different ways of doing it. And, for those who are just joining us, that's exactly what I do. I help people get off of pharmaceuticals and street drugs and alcohol onto plant-based medicine. I do detoxing, period, no matter what it is that's in your body, or what you're hooked on, or what has destroyed your body. I help you detox from that and get those pathways, those new pathways opened up, and get you back on track and feeling like a good human again. But anyways, yeah, so that, using these common antidepressants, these do alter, antidepressants do alter your serotonin,
Yeah.
your norepinephrine, and sometimes dopamine levels.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. THC also influences serotonin and dopamine indirectly. And with me saying that, I did write some notes down regarding what I mean by indirectly. Are we still live? Yeah, we're still live. Okay. Okay, so serotonin, okay, indirectly, meaning it does not directly bind to the receptors of these neurotransmitters to stimulate or inhibit them. Instead, THC acts as a key that fits into cannabinoid receptors, CB1 receptors, which are part of the brain's endocannabinoid system, which I talked about a little while ago, but I'm not going to get too much into the endocannabinoid system. We can do that another show, because that's a whole nother topic, you guys. That's your largest nervous system. Yes, your body makes cannabis for real. System. When activated, these CB1 receptors act as a master regulator, changing the firing rates of neurons that produce or release dopamine, serotonin. This indirect influence often involves a biphase effect, a less is more phenomenon, where low doses create a different result than high doses, along with complex receptors. It's what we call crosstalk. So it's very interesting on how all of this works.
Mhm.
And And in some individuals, the combination can, with all of that I just talked about, with the indirectly dopamine influence of THC, can cause anxiety, panic attacks, disassociation, paranoia, mood instability, hypomania, and psychotic features. It doesn't happen to everyone. This does not happen to everyone, you guys. Not everyone gets affected like this. Worst case scenario, what happens is that your cannabis, your THC, could be canceling out your antidepressant, or your antidepressant is canceling out your THC. Let me see. Anyone out there ever taken edible and you didn't get high? Because it's canceling it out. That is what that is. Or sometimes it could be an enzyme problem. But in vulnerable populations, the risk increase significantly, you guys. And I am seeing this more and more and more in my practice. That's why I'm talking about this, because I feel it's just super important. Again, in my practice, I have observed that individuals who are stabilized on antipsychotics or certain antidepressants can stabilize when high THC destabilize. I'm sorry, they destabilize when high THC products are introduced, especially concentrates, vapes, and edibles. Now, in Australia, they don't have access to all this stuff like we do here in America. I do believe we've got, 33 states now that have some kind of cannabis program, medical program, or recreational program. So a lot of Americans have access to this trash. Yeah, I'm going to say it, trash. So it's very important where you're getting your products from. Very important.
I agree.
Another thing I want to tell people is that this is another fact, and this is starting to come out, and I've been saying this for years, many years. Probably about 16 years I've been saying this now. If you take a seed and you put it in your mouth and you put your DNA on that seed and you plant that seed, now that plant is going to grow the cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids that you need to heal your body, because you mixed your DNA with it. That's how intelligent this plant is.
Amazing.
This plant was made for us. Mother Gaia made sure that she made some medicine for us to help us heal our body. Our body makes cannabis. That's why we have an endocannabinoid system. The high potency THC products today are not the same cannabis that we had decades ago. Seriously. Yeah, I wish you could try some of the stuff they have here in America, and it's crazy. It is so
I can
crazy.
only imagine. And it's at people's fingertips over there.
Oh yeah, and you go into a dispensary, I call them pot shops. You go into a pot dope shop or whatever, you go in there and you would not believe how many things they have infused with cannabis, with THC. You name it. Popsicles, suckers, ice cream, chocolate, gummies, like all your mainstream candies. Like you probably have like mints and Skittles. Do you guys have Skittles out there in Australia?
Yeah.
And Reese's? Yeah, they make that kind of candy with THC now.
Oh my goodness. But you want to be getting good THC. Like, just because it's THC doesn't mean it's going to be good THC. Like, you want to be getting stuff from somewhere that, like, you know, it's renowned for where they get their THC and everything from. So you're
Like
getting
me.
like this trip.
Like
you.
I would never mix my cannabis with THC, but I'm medical only. I do not do recreational, and I do not promote recreational. I only promote medical. And I can work with anybody that's got a medical card. So there is ways around that. And I do make my own cannabis products. But again, it's for medicine only. So lots of tinctures, lots of capsules.
My body reacts very well with your stuff. It definitely reacts, like, has a good reaction to it.
Good.
So.
Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah. I mean, I've got hundreds of reviews on my Google, and people just saying, just my CBD alone, how amazing it has helped people. And they've never had the type of results.
The best sleeps on them.
They've not had, they've never had the results that they've had with my CBD, with other CBDs. So Yeah, I do take pride in that. I work very hard to perfect my products.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
but
it
yeah,
shows.
huh?
It shows. You definitely like can tell. Like when you take your stuff, your medicine, you definitely can feel the high quality to it all, the
Hmm.
healing components, all of it.
Thank you.
But
Thank
I
you.
do know, like, not everywhere. Like, if you buy this, I had some friends buy like little mushy. They're like, saw them online, and they bought like little mushy capsules, and they reckon it like just was nothing, just didn't do anything, or like little sleep gummies and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but because they're like, oh, I spent all this money, I spent $50 and just did nothing. I'm like, yeah, but you have to like just because it says that's what it has in it, like if it's not a good product, you're not necessarily gonna, you know, notice anything or feel anything. So you want to know where you're getting your product from.
Exactly. It's just like, where you buy your food, where
Yeah.
everything that you do, you want to make sure that it's safe and that it's made with love, is what I always say. But
It's
yeah,
good.
most of these concentrates that we have, I mean, they're, I mean, even 70, 90% THC. I mean, you can get THC smoke, weed, flower, like at 25% THC, 30% THC. And I'm like, whoa.
Mhm. That's, do people understand the difference what THC is to CBD, and like, because like I
Oh,
tell
I'm going to
people,
get into that. Yeah, I'm going to
yeah,
get into that. Yeah, I wrote a whole bunch of stuff on that so that we don't, I can get into that a little bit.
because some
But
people think weed is just weed, like, oh, you smoke weed, that it's all the same, but it's not. Like I was trying to explain the other day how CBD works in your body to THC to my daughter and my boyfriend, and they were like, huh? And I'm like,
this is super easy. THC works on pain. Okay.
mhm,
CBD works on inflammation. The two marry well to each other because they're both working on pain. You bring that inflammation down, you don't need the THC because you don't
mhm.
have no pain.
But
Yeah.
CBD doesn't affect the brain, whereas THC affects the brain. Is that right?
Oh,
Like CBD,
they're finding in the studies that CBD is helping with new pathways to the serotonin.
yeah, but it doesn't, like, THC is the stuff that you trip. Like when you
Mm.
smoke it and you get
Psychosis.
that
Yeah.
high, and some
Mhm.
people do trip and have like full
Mhm.
trips on that's the THC. That's not, if you were to smoke or you take CBD oil or capsules all on its own with no THC, you won't have a high. Like you
I
won't
head high.
trip.
No, no.
No,
Yeah. No
you'll
head high.
just
No head
feel
high.
lethargic
Yeah.
in the body and very relaxed, but you won't actually trip. Whereas if you took a whole bunch of THC, you might trip. Like you might actually have like a full trip in your head because the way it affects each individual is different in
Yeah.
their
It
body.
makes you
But
stone. It makes you stony
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
But
but
you have control in it. Yeah. It's not
yeah,
like a,
but
it's not,
CBD doesn't. CBD
yeah.
doesn't. You don't trip, correct? Yeah.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
nope. I love smoking CBD because I'll smoke it and because it smells like cannabis. I mean, it smells like THC. It does everything. You get all of the effects from like THC. You get the body feels good. Everything
Yes.
feels good,
Yes.
but you get no head high.
Yeah.
So it's like a
Exactly.
whole new high in itself.
Yeah, it's very. I love it. I do love it. The only thing I don't like is, which I tried, is I took some at work and it was no good because I just wanted to sit down, and I was like, my body was just like, no, it's time to sit down and relax, and I couldn't like kind of move myself, and I'm supposed to be like running around serving people, and my body was just like, no, I'm so tired. So that was not a good mix, but if I'm at home, I agree. It's so nice because you're so relaxed and everything, but your mind is still sharp and aware, and yeah, it's not having no high.
Yeah.
Lyrica, there's Lyrica. Oh, I don't like that medication. I go in once a month for Lyrica. Was the worst drug I've ever taken in my life. It was so bad. Like I, they had me up to 90 milligrams. I think at least it was either two times a day or three times. It was so much. And I remember one morning after taking it for about maybe a month or so, I woke up, I went to the kitchen. I would always make a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. And I went to pick up my 2 liter bottle of milk and I couldn't pick it up. My hand, I was like, I have arthritis. I had no strength. Like my hands were like arthritic. And then I went to the shopping center and I went to bend down to get something at the bottom of like the shelf and I couldn't. My right leg was so like swollen, like it was so painful, and I'm like, I have arthritis, I'm getting arthritis. And it turned out it was Lyrica that did this to me. It like it attacked all my joints and like my body became real fat and bloated and I retained heaps and heaps of water, like I got really fat on it. And all my joints, yeah, just too much water retention and stuff. But I actually started feeling like I was getting rheumatoid arthritis. It was so horrible, and and also the way it affected my mood and my depression. Like it really affected my depression. That was probably the scariest bit because I would find myself just like feeling super depressed and just crying, but kind of like sitting there going, "Why am I depressed?" But like I'm not. There's nothing is making me sad, but I'm just really depressed. And like I'm the kind of person when I'm not feeling myself, I start to analyze. Like, so I started thinking, what is it that I'm having or doing that's making me depressed? What in my life is causing this? And when I found out that when I looked it up and researched it, and I saw Lyrica was the studies in America were coming out with this about it, I was like, whoa, that's what it is. I gotta get rid of this because my depression, if I'm not aware of my depression will take over me to where I'm literally thinking suicide. And like, I'm going to be really honest, in my lifetime, I have gone to those extents and I'm like very aware of how strong depression is. When you're not aware of it, sometimes it's simply something you're taking, but you don't realize it and you let it consume you and then you let the energy consume you. But sometimes it's like something as simple as you're taking the wrong medication and it's causing this issue. And in my case, it was Lyrica. And yeah, I had to get off that stuff real quick.
Yeah, and then when you're mixing all of that with alcohol,
Oh, no, no.
that's why people are so overweight. That's why women get so overweight, especially with the big belly and feeling bloated, because it puts a lot of weight on you real quick, really fast.
It's your liver. Your liver cannot take that kind of
It
like
cannot take
abuse.
that medication.
It can't.
It can't. It doesn't know how to metabolize it at
No.
all.
So it builds up. It creates fat to protect itself. So you once you have fat, your liver starts to produce this fat around it to protect itself. Your body's just going to be fat. Like you, if your liver's fat, your body you'll never lose that weight on your stomach if your liver has created this, this fat to protect itself because it's getting hit with all these horrible medications. It's a losing battle. It's such a losing battle with
Yeah,
with your
it's
weight if you're
yeah,
taking
it's
something like that.
and it's especially tough for us women who've already had children, middle aged, and then you've got menopause on top of it, or even PMS. You're still on your cycle. So yeah, it's. I have to say, everything that I've learned and everything that I've been doing, the Western medicine, they know the human body. They because of them and the food and everything else, they know how to make it work and function with these medications, and it's just it's no good. It's a toxic. It's so toxic, and people just want relief. They really want relief, but there's no pill out there that's going to cure any depression. It's just not. It's not. But there are plants out there. There are plants out there that you can use to help with your depression. They're just tools in the tool bag. You have to overcome what it is that you're depressed about.
Yeah,
So
you have to find the core of what's causing it, and then
exactly.
try and shift and
that trauma.
get
You got to find that trauma. And sometimes it's a critter. Sometimes it's just you're overloaded with candida. There's a lot of different reasons why these type of moods happen to us constantly.
Yeah. I
But
seen one fascia guide, the one I sent you, and he said depression comes from your main large intestine valve down here being shut off, like being like where it's not passing stuff through. And he's like had this like exercise you can do to help open that valve up. And apparently he says that's like if that valve is closed, that will cause bad depression in your body because it's storing things up in there. Yeah.
It's true. I am undergoing some severe, intense fascia work right now. I'm very excited. I was told today by my therapist that my fascia has a pulse. So
Ooh,
I know. So we're
how
making huge
exciting.
headway. Yes. She actually could take my fascia and she could pinch it. She's like, I have like 2 inches in my hand right now. There's a pulse.
Good.
I
So she's
know.
softening it and getting it to
Yes.
like glide a bit better.
So yeah, so I'm doing that
Awesome.
kind of, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But anyways, getting back to high levels of potency can be overwhelming. An already sensitive nervous system can be overwhelming on someone who already has a sensitive nervous system. There's a lot of people who have a sensitive nervous system, and
I
um,
did. I had a
yeah,
very sensitive nervous system.
I
I
was going to
still
say you're a prime example of it.
do. Mine got shot from all these things, trauma, but
Uh-huh.
medication, no good.
Mhm.
It just
Yep.
shuts. It just shuts everything off in your body. It just shuts it off, and then your poor little organs in your body, especially your liver, but even your kidneys, like all of it, having to break down all that stuff and then filter it. And like every single day, you're putting these things in your body. Even I see like some people, oh, I had, I had all my different vitamins for the day. They boast about how they've got 50 vitamins that they eat every day. It's like, do you understand that you only have one liver that has to break all of these things down, and you're doing that every day? Even doing that, you think you're being healthy, but you have to understand you have a liver that has to break all this stuff. Doesn't just go in your body and magically go poof and work. Your liver has to break it down and decide, like, where do I put this? How do I get rid of this? How do I need this? If you're putting all these things in your body, your poor liver is just taking the biggest beating. And we don't understand that as human beings. And when you take medication, it just shuts down all the receptors, and then you're just left with your poor organs having to take this beating from you day in and day out. And then you're wondering, why do I feel worse? Why do I feel sluggish? Why do I have constipation? Why does my stomach feel bloated all the time? Why am I gaining all this weight? Like, because your organs, they only know they can only work so much before they can't take it anymore, and then it goes against you, and all that stuff starts to build up in your system and build up in your organs and build up in your body and lead create plaque, like Claudine has taught me, throughout your fascia, through all your lymphatic system, and it's just none of it is good. So
No, and then they put alcohol on top of it, and it's such a awful, awful cocktail for your body.
yeah.
Um, but high level of potencies can overwhelm someone who has bipolar disorder, someone with schizophrenia spectrum disorder, someone with trauma induced dissociation. Um, there is strong research, you guys. Like I said, I've got a whole list of it right here of research showing that heavy THC use is associated with early onset psychosis in generally vulnerable individuals. That is evidence based. Like I said, I've been going down the rabbit hole on that. And then Anne was talking about why other cannabinoids may be different.
Mhm.
And so we'll talk about why they behave differently. Unlike THC, other cannabinoids behave differently. Okay, let me get my words out. CBD, also known as cannabidiol, that's the scientific name, does not directly activate CB1 receptors.
Mhm.
It may reduce anxiety, has been studied for antipsychotic properties, and can modulate dopamine more gently. So CBD, no head high, no head high, but it does work on the CB2 receptors, you guys. So
Interesting.
very interesting. Then we got CBG. You ever heard of CBG?
No.
Cannabidiol. Cannabidiol, I think is the way you say it, the scientific one.
Never heard of it.
That's really good for the gut.
Okay.
Very popular. Yep, I do that extraction too. I do make CBG, and it's another one that doesn't give you a head high, but it works the stomach area. Works in the stomach.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. It's non-intoxicating. Emergent research suggests neuroprotectant properties, so it's a neuroprotectant too. Most cannabinoids, all of them, THC, CBD, all of them have been proven as a neuroprotectant. That is how the government, the United States of America, was able to patent it. They patented in 2001 when the endocannabinoid system was discovered. So all cannabis is a neuroprotectant first, and then an antioxidant is how it is worded in that. So it's quite interesting. And these are all facts. You guys can look them up. These were points that we used for legalization, so they're important. And then there's CBN. You ever heard of CBN?
No. They sound like TV stations.
I know, huh? Cannabinol, that's CBN. That is the scientific name, cannabinol. And I love CBN. Oh, I love it. So this is very interesting, and you're gonna like this. So you take THC, okay? It's properly THCA, okay? That's the proper cannabinoid. I roll you a joint, and I give you a joint. Let's say that it's New Year's, okay? And I give you a joint, and you have that joint, and that's actually what we call THCA in the scientific extraction world when you're working with cannabis like I do. You take that joint and you put it in your pocket. And let's say maybe 2 years later, you pull that jacket out of the closet because it's cold or whatever, and you haven't worn it in quite some time. That's my reality here in Arizona. We only wear jackets maybe every 2 or 3 years. And you pull out that joint. That is no longer THCA. That is now CBNA. CBN. Yep. So the THC turns into CBN. No more head high. You're not going to get stony smoking that, but it becomes a very, very high sedating. It will put you to sleep.
You sleep. Very interesting.
And that interesting is very interesting, isn't it? So it's a lower psychoactive intensity. It's really good for people who have insomnia.
So it's just like very curated pot, like it's just been sitting and marinating and aging, like a fine wine. Like the longer a wine sits, the stronger it becomes. So it kind of the same similar concept, I guess.
Sort of, kind of. I like to say cannabis is very complex. It's a complex plant. I don't think in my lifetime I'll ever be able to completely understand it. There's just no way.
It's interesting, but that we have this whole system in our body that's almost like it's made for cannabis to enter our body to feed it. Like that's what I like. Even the vagus nerve, how it reacts to when you smoke a joint and stuff, or to weed, the way the vagus nerve will react to that. Like people who their nervous system is out of whack sometimes, like my dad, every time he went from being able to smoke to all of a sudden it was like psyching him. Every time he even smoked the tiniest bit, he was like freaking out. He's like, why am I acting like, why is this happening? And I'm like, because I think your vagus nerve is out of whack, because there's something wrong in your body. And every time you switch, he had a lung, he wasn't getting oxygen to his brain because he had toxins on his lungs, and yeah, so every time he smoked a joint, his body, or had any kind of weed, like he had edibles, and he wigged out. And he's like, why is it happening? I'm like, because your vagus nerve is trying to tell you that something is very wrong in your body, and it's like trying to communicate with you, and it's wigging out when you take it, saying, hey, something's wrong. So you're wigging out as a person, because like, yeah, it's activating in your body and telling you something's off. You need
Yeah,
to
and
like,
a lot of times I like to tell people who oh, cannabis makes me paranoid. Oh, I get paranoid. Well, a lot of times why that happens is because when you smoke cannabis, because our body makes cannabis and it's here for us, it's part of us. We're able to, there's many, many delivery systems when it comes to cannabis. Okay. It's not just smoking.
yeah,
You can eat it. You can use it transdermally. You can use it as a suppository.
use it as a massage, like
Transdermally, yes, yes, exactly. You drop it in the eyes. There's all kinds of ways of getting it. But when someone who says, "Oh, whenever I do it, it makes me paranoid," not your dad's. I believe I agree with you. It's his nervous system. He's got some blocks in there. But sometimes when it does that, when you smoke cannabis, it opens up your channels. Okay, it opens up your angelic channels that you have, and if you are running from a lot of stuff, or you don't face a lot of stuff, or you don't deal with a lot of stuff, it all just comes up at once.
yeah,
And that is where the paranoia comes, because they're like, I can't deal with this. I don't want it,
yeah,
So,
because it makes you like think or something.
yes,
Like,
it opens up your channels, like I said. And sometimes you can hear your thoughts a lot better, and you have better perspective. And
yeah.
some people just can't handle that. So,
I had one lady that did you remember that Chinese acupuncturist? She said that when she smoked it, she like started feeling like she was floating, so they had to like take her to a room and lie her down on the bed. And she said every time her friend came into the room to check on her, she could see her friend floating, like it full activated her. And she was like this most straight laced woman, like Chinese, grew up very Chinese and typical, Chinese family. Yeah, so she wasn't like really into drug, but she said she smoked like one or two times. That's what she experienced, was like people floating, and every time her friend came in, she was like floating toward her. And I'm like, how do you hallucinate like that on it? Because I don't know, I just do. Like, it's crazy.
well, it just opens up those channels, and
Yeah.
I think it also becomes a protector for us. I've been doing cannabis for a very long time. I was born into this business that I'm doing. That's what I say. I've just been born into it. That's what my daughter says. Someone had asked my daughter one time, "Well, how does your mom know all this? How does she do all this?" And my daughter goes, "She was born into it." So I just always said that.
It's like part of your life.
It's just my mom. Ever since I've known her, she's always been about cannabis and mushrooms and
You
plants
just have
and
such a
doing.
great understanding for it. Like, and you're
Yeah,
really good at teaching about it. Like, I've learned so much from you. Like, especially about mushrooms and stuff. Like, understanding when you trip, and how it's working with your body, and how it's healing your body. Yeah,
yes.
it makes. I find it helps when I'm using it, or even like if I'm going to use it and trip a bit. It helps with the experience of everything to understand it better when you understand how it's working with your body. And for me, it helps me understand when I get shown stuff, when I'm like if I'm in a mushy trip, like all, your angels and your little team are always trying to show you little things while you're, in that state and stuff. And it helps me understand what they're trying to communicate with me. Like, I tend to see a lot of energy on food, like chickens become alive, and eggs become alive, and all foods become alive. And you know but it helps me understand what I'm experiencing when I understand how the mushroom works with the body, and how it is working with our receptors and our nervous system. And yeah, I learned a lot from you in that.
Mushrooms work on a cellular level and on your consciousness. That's how they work.
Mm,
Cannabis, you come from more microbiome organisms than you do human cells. Those are facts. So you
yeah,
come from the mushrooms. You come from earth, you come from the ground. They are the great connector. Without them, none of this exists. We don't exist, nothing exists.
We
Then
are
you've got
one.
the plant. Yeah, then exactly. That is how we become one, is through the mushrooms.
Yeah.
If you understand mycology, you will understand it on such a great level, you know. And then when you use the medicine properly, it's a tool in the tool bag. Okay. Again, like I just want to really make this, you know, very clear. I am not here for recreational purposes. I am here for medical purposes
To
only,
heal.
to heal. Exactly. And and then cannabis, your body makes cannabis. It has its own endocannabinoid system, one of your largest nervous system next to your vagus
Interesting.
nerve and your parasympathetic nervous system.
So,
So,
and then
yeah,
there's a plant that grows out there that matches that system.
that
That's
matches us
so
exactly.
interesting.
And then, you know, in the plant, what we have in common, well, what we have in common with the mushrooms is they eat their nutrients. We eat our nutrients.
Yeah.
So that's
Interesting.
very fascinating.
We,
Yeah.
we are definitely a mushroom. I feel
Mhm.
it when I take mushrooms, even like just the normal ones, the healing ones, the capsules. I feel it like hit my nervous system. I feel different in my nervous system. Like I see how we're like very interconnected with it. When it hits my body, I feel like, oh yeah, it's
You start
very
to feel really balanced. And another thing about mushrooms is that they're adaptogens. And those are so important for us to have in our system. We've got to have adaptogens in our system. They bring, and if anyone doesn't know what an adaptogen is when it brings down brings up the immunity and brings down the stress level. So it's helping your immunity and it's bringing your stress level down. And this I find so ironic because I used to take mushrooms. I'll take my mushrooms. I take a mushroom blend every day. I usually drink a mushroom tea, drinking a mushroom tea right now. I drink my mushrooms a lot. Um, and I used to get a lot of energy. Well, there's been a shift in my body. And now, because they make sense, they're adaptogens, they bring down the stress level. They make me tired. I want to go to sleep.
yeah. I find that I've found that I've had very good sleeps on mushrooms. I always find after I have had any like trippy kind of mushies, afterwards I have the best, and I feel really tired afterwards. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I just need to go lie down and sleep.
You
Like
get such good sleep,
I
such good
feel
sleep.
very tired. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely feel very tired after them. So
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, got off track again, you guys, like we always do, but so much great information here. So now they're doing studies, you guys, on schizophrenia research. They're doing research studies on schizophrenia, that CBD in particular. They're studying CBD for treatment on schizophrenia. So I think that is just awesome. That is like, I know that's making big headway. I know they're going to do some good stuff on that. Um, However, safe does not mean universally safe. It means lower risk of psychosis compared to high THC exposure. Every nervous system is different. Every human body is different. What
yeah,
works for me is not going to work for Anne. What works for Anne is not going to work for me necessarily. Okay.
so true.
Um, yep. So the intelligent takeaway from this, you guys, tonight is cannabis is not inherently good or bad, but brain chemistry is not something we gamble with ever. No, 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 no. If someone is taking medication designed to stabilize dopamine or serotonin signaling, introducing a high THC product can counter-react that stabilization. Okay. So if someone wants to use plant medicine while on psychiatric medication, they should work with a knowledgeable practitioner and start with non intoxicating cannabinoids at low doses like CBN, CBD, CBG, okay? THCV. I can go on and on and on. And if you're going to do THC, the rule is go low and slow. And again, find yourself a really good physician like myself to help you with this. My information is on the screen. My QR code is working with my new website, you guys. So that's one way to contact me. And then I have my phone number up here too to contact me if anyone's interested in the type of work that I do. And just an important safety note, do not ever stop your psychiatric medications, you guys, abruptly. Do not do that. Make sure you have a medical team to help you. Medication changes should be supervised by a licensed professional all the time. And yep, I have to say that, you guys, because it's just what is.
It's the way it is.
It is. Western medicine and Australian medicine, they know the human body because, let me see, they've helped destroy it. Okay. So,
Because they help destroy it. It's so true.
it's so true. It is so true. Anyone with a history of psychosis should be especially cautious with THC. And that is pretty much what I'm saying here, you guys. So again, if you guys have any questions, want to learn more, all my information is right here, my QR code, and you can contact me that way. I will get you and back on my new website again. I'll have another page that is coming along. I do have a new website. It's called elevatedbyclaudine.energy. Just elevatedbyclaudine.energy, you guys. There is no www. There's no nothing before it. This is my own domain. I own it. And yes, I am going full on AI with my system, and which is going to be nice. So like if I want to change something on my website, all I got to do is go to my AI and say, hey, change this, and boom, it'll do everything for me. So it'll help free up some of my time. As Anne has known me, I think for the past 7 years, all I ever talk about, oh, I got to update my website. Oh, my website. Oh, my. It's so time consuming.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But it's important. It's it's the way that we are nowadays. And my cousin had put, here's my cousin who was on all of these pharmaceuticals.
So many.
I don't even know how she can even think. How does she even survive each day?
I don't know how your liver is like surviving this. I feel so sorry for these livers. Oh my God. And your kidneys having to filter all that. Like, oh, just the organs. Like, if I had known how organs were back when I was young, I would have like just kept them so clean. Like no alcohol, no drugs, no bad foods, no bad oils, even seed oils. Like I do not have any seed oils nowhere around me. I do not eat them. I only use coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil on my foods, or beef tallow. Like that's a good oil, but do not use seed oils. Do not use deodorants. Like
I don't use any of them. I don't use. Well, I use ghee, butter, and and I won't cook with oils. I won't cook. I will make, salad dressing, olive oil. I do tinctures with avocado oil, coconut oil, but I do not cook with any of those oils.
I do because I am Asian and we eat lots of fried foods and fried eggs and yes, so. But I use beef tallow. If I want to deep fry or anything, I use coconut oil or I use beef tallow. So I know beef tallow is very even good to eat for your body. So
that's good. That's good. I don't use, I won't use any kind of meat products. You know that. I don't, I can't. My body doesn't like it. My body won't allow it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't eat deep fried food. No, I can have something like, I can have like a quesadilla or something like kind of like fried a little bit in butter, but that's about as far as I can go. So.
Yeah, don't go near the seed oils. They're so bad for you. Like
they really are.
Especially like your liver. We have to like take care of it. And that's like everything we eat, even like perfumes. Like don't spray perfume on your skin because your liver has to process all of that. It has to go back into your body, absorbs into your body, goes to your liver. If you're on medications, all those toxins. Even so, I go walking couple days a week up in the mountains and I have very, very sensitive smell. Like I can smell people's products on them. And one thing I smell all the time is softener on people's clothing. And it's so strong. Sometimes I can still smell it like meters, feet away from them and I'm still smelling it because they just walked this trail and it's so strong. And I just think like, that is so bad for you. Like there's no point walking this mountain if you're putting all that shit into and you're wearing it. Like that's just like absorbing into your, if I can smell it, that's just absorbing into your body. You probably feel nauseous sometimes, like just randomly for no reason. That's just all those toxins that you use through products in your home that are just, they're not good for you.
And if you're clean, you don't stink. If you're clean, if you have a clean terrain, you don't have BO, you don't have smelly things. And I know this to be true because this hasn't just happened to me once or twice or three. This has happened to me almost a dozen times, something like this. It just happened last week again. This lady comes like this close at the post office, this close to me, like this close. And she goes, "Oh, you smell so good. What is that? What did she, oh, she goes,
That's
is
so
that
weird.
I know. I was tripping at first. I'm like, whoa, what is this lady doing? And yeah, she goes, is that patchouli? And I'm like, no, I don't. I love patchouli, but I don't wear patchouli. I go, no, it's probably just my lavender oil because I do put a little bit of lavender oil on me in the morning because I love the way lavender smells. I wash my clothes in lavender oils and essential oils.
See, that's nice.
Yeah. So, but it's funny. This happens quite often to me, and I happened to me twice last week, and it's just so funny. And I'm just like, it happened. I was at the grocery store like last Friday, and it happened again. I'm just like,
it's a fresh smell, but it's fresh
it's clean.
Yeah, clean and fresh, and it's like when you smell a flower. It's nice. It's refreshing. But when you smell like these softener, like I used to use them because I like to just think, oh, that smells nice. I lie in my bed and I can smell it. When I put my clothes on, they smell. But actually, it's not good for you. It's very, very bad for you. So
they said if you can smell it, yeah, they say if you can smell the
product,
like the Glade and stuff, if you can smell it really strong, you're being poisoned.
Yeah, you're 100%. I feel it as soon as I smell it. When I pass someone, like I hold my breath because it's like, ugh. I feel nauseous just having that smell. It smells nice, but it's very toxic. It's like perfume, very rich perfume. You smell it. It has it smells good, but it sometimes will make you feel like nauseous, like, ugh. That's just those toxins. They're so bad. And when just because you're smelling it and you think you're not eating it, if you're putting it on your skin, it's going into your body. Your liver has to process all of that. So
it's so anyways, we've gone a little bit over, but we also had a lot of problems getting started, so we're not too sure what happened. Well, we do know what happened. I said the wrong word, and as soon as we say a wrong word, they start to shadow ban us and interrupt our live. But we'll be back live again in 2 weeks, and I'm not too sure what we'll talk about. I kind of want to get a little bit deeper into how critters cause other diseases like gout and Alzheimer's and dementia and mental illnesses and all that stuff. So we're going to get into that maybe on our next show. We'll see what happens. I also would like to really talk about what's going on this planet as far as all these gas prices and everything, and the weather. I mean, we've got so much we can talk about, really.
It's out of control.
I know it's out of control.
It's only gonna, this is just the beginning, everyone. So
and my best advice to everybody is just focus on healing. Focus on healing. That's all God is asking, is focus on healing right now. Focus on the good, and do not give any of the negativity any of your energy. That's all I want to say for tonight. And thank you for joining us. And I hope you guys learned something and took something good from this. And again, if you guys want to reach out and contact Ann or myself, the information is right here. And everyone, peace and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Bye.